Minister for Education, Sport and Culture, Julie Edge, is with us, and you're saying masked up for this. I mean, we should start with that because, I mean, the schools, massive amount of what's going on there, because I'm hearing, like I'm sure you know, a lot of teachers aren't doing it, a lot of pupils aren't doing it, yet certain years are going home, disruption in all places. What's going on?
Yeah. So obviously the expected status of mask wearing has been in our schools since before Christmas, and we've reinforced that in the new school year. Expected or required is the same meaning, and we're encouraging everybody, as many people as possible, to wear the masks.
Encouraging is not the same as mandating, obviously.
No, of course not, and certainly, we haven't gone as a government to mandate. We're at level 2 of the Island Winter Plan, and that says expected mask wearing, and as an education department we're adhering to that.
There's just massive disruption. Massive disruption. People are off, aren't they? There's whole thoughts.
Yeah, they're not all staff are off with COVID. We need to remember that, and we also need to think of masks as helping the school communities and the school environment. We're aware of why we would put them on, and we are strongly encouraging that people do wear them in school environments.
But if you can't get the teachers to wear them, it's not going to go well, is it, for pupils?
It's not legal to wear them. It is a choice at this present time, and we're just trying to encourage as many people as possible to wear them. The staff absences is for a variety of reasons, and we're aware prior to the Christmas break that some of the schools were already sending students home, so there's all sorts of winter viruses going around as well as COVID.
My point is, shouldn't the teachers lead by example? Let's try that one.
As a department, we have sent out new guidance at the start of term saying, please, it's strongly encouraged.
So you're disappointed the teachers aren't doing this?
I certainly would, but of course, Paul, when you're getting reports of this, you don't know if anybody's got a health condition, so there could be legitimate reasons why people won't be wearing masks.
Do you see this going anywhere further to mandate it, or are you comfortable where it is at the minute?
No, at the end of the day, we're where we are at the present time. We expected case numbers to increase after Christmas. We knew that's been seen around the world, not just on the island. And at the present time, that is the government's status. That's what we've implemented in schools, and we're doing as much as we can to encourage that students and staff are wearing the masks.
I mean, we don't know where this is all going to end. There's been so much disruption for years, way before you took on this job, of course. And when you're on the outside, you're probably more critical than anyone, I think, about what was going on. So now you're the one that's running it. Yeah. I'm just surprised we're not hearing a bit more forcefulness, that's all.
No, certainly, unless it's mandated on our public transport at the present time.
Indeed.
And we also know that people aren't always adhering to it on public transport. What I don't want to do, and what my priority is, to make sure we've got children in school being educated. That is the key priority for me, to make sure they've got as much face-to-face learning as possible. They've had too much disruption over the last 2 years.
Indeed, and we're not there yet, are we, by a long chalk?
Well, certainly we've had one school that's been interrupted at the present time. The rest of the schools are operating as normal. I'm sure over the next week or so, and I'm hoping it is only for a couple of weeks, that we have this disruption. It's a key important area for students going into exam periods and mocks, and the priority is keeping them in school and keeping them educated. Are
you happy then with what's going on as it stands, or are you frustrated that there's not more adherence to the protocol?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult, and it is easy from the outside to shout and throw the stones, if you like. I was one of those people doing that. What is priority for me is making sure his children are educated, and I don't want children feeling that they can't go into a school environment because of various reasons, on masks, and then what you're going to do, are you going to put fines in place? I don't want anybody getting a fine for not wearing a mask, and if it was put in the regulations or it was made law, there would have to be enforcement, and that's very difficult in all of our school environments to do that enforcement.
So it's interesting to hear you say this, that when you're on the outside looking in, it's one thing, but when you're on the inside, you see it in a different manner.
Yeah, well, you do, because you've obviously got that different advice. The department's liaising regularly with all the head teachers, so we do know the up-to-date advice, and there's been call from some politicians, some of the backbenchers, to say, can't it be part of school uniform? School uniform is the policy for the schools. It's not a departmental. It's not I'm at the department. I'm not going to say to schools what you have to do for your school uniform.
Changing subject completely. You know I'm going to go to now, don't you? We're going to go down to the NSC. Boy, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, what can you tell us about these blooming flumes? Is it one only that's causing the issue, or
it's one only that's being closed at the present time? It is frustrating, really disappointing. Big launch, let's get them open. Everybody was enjoying them. Obviously, after use, the incidents will come to light. So we have had a couple of incidents on the flumes.
I've heard that's why you've taken the action you've taken, because it was consistently going wrong, wasn't it?
So there's different variety of injury on the flumes. It could be slipping on the outside of the flume, it could be slipping on the steps. So there's various
Are they banging their head or
degrees.
something when they're coming off the bottom?
There's been a few that have banged their heads at the bottom, and obviously that's what we're in discussions with the contractor. We're trying to get the contractor back on island as soon as possible and make sure that, but we've closed it on a safety issue at the present time, because we didn't wish for anybody else to get any injuries.
Again, you'd be on the outside of this, you'd be moaning about this. Now you've got to take this one on. I mean, it's a funny fit anyway, you talking about flumes and education, but anyway, that's another matter. Clearly, something has to be sorted anyway, because I mean, this has wrangled on for so much time, and the goodness knows where the lawsuits are going. I don't know, but you presume now have a clearer picture on who's going to have to pay, or
well, certainly the flumes were commissioned, and they were at that time.
Commissioned. Who commissioned them?
They were commissioned by the contractor,
right.
and
so they went down there a few times. I'm taking it.
Yes, and then obviously we did our own little event with some of the swimming clubs, and we invited groups of children in before we opened it to the public. So I do feel that everything was done at that point in time, but what has arisen over the Christmas period, we still need to find out and get the contractor back on island, and that's key.
Right.
Get the contractor back on island, make sure that they are safe.
So this is going to be out of action for some time?
No. Hopefully, hopefully I'll be able to say in the next week or so when they're arriving. But I think key really is that the island's got a fantastic facility opened again. One flume is still working. Please enjoy that flume whilst the other one's out of action. But we've got the lovely little environment for the younger children, the little cove area. It's got a little slide in it for the youngsters, and I think it is a great family environment. It's had a lot of investment. However, look at the whole facility and what we've got on there.
But it's always the things that go wrong that will be of interest. Just on that though, I mean, if it's people hitting their heads, whatever it is, this is not just a quick fix. They've got to actually reconfigure things, which it sounds like they're going to have to build some new parts or whatever. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to, is this could be a long-term shutdown on that.
So on that one particular flume, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is at this time. None of us do till that contractor comes back, and it's the right thing to do. Get the contractor back on site. Get him to make sure that nothing has gone wrong or what has gone wrong, and make sure that it's fixed and open to the public as soon as possible.